well, we don't have the cool fancy intro that I was hoping to have ready for tonight, so instead we've just got the standard old Getting Dicey. Yay! But there were some new faces in there, which is great. And yes, we've got a couple of green screens going on, which is fantastic. We've got some costumes as well. Dave's Dave, which is cool. And while it looks like I've got nothing going on, I do have secrets ready at some point. I should be wearing this awesome new hood, a nice new DM hood that Joe made for me, but it's way too hot and it's made of 100% wool, so no. It's as simple as that.
Pick the wool bits out.
Yeah, I have. That's what I'm wearing right now.
Can you just put it on for like 1 minute?
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I need an explanation of that cape, that sweet half cape you've got going on, John.
An explanation. It's a half cape.
Explain yourself.
So you've got half a cape and one ear.
I'm not going to button it up.
I'm a half
elf.
It's a perfect.
And it's kind of just the hook. I can't hear you guys, but it's just. And I don't even know. Can I hear you guys through here? Hello.
So good.
Okay, it works. But it's way too nice.
Super hot.
It's so hot. But I will, as soon as it cools down a little bit, as soon as it cools down, I will totally be wearing that. But look forward to the secrets. The secrets are going to be great. But, okay, so last week we had our episode 0. We all got to know 4 of the 5 characters. In fact, none of you knew that the 5th character was going to be joining us anyway. We have Joe playing as Miraqen. Is that it? Is that it?
No, why not?
Miraqen?
I'm going to say Miraqen.
Miraqen. And do people...
There's no U in it. There's no U in it.
Okay,
yeah,
is there anything...
Hard Q.
Is there anything you want to tell the players about your character before we get started?
It's a druid elf. And I made the mistake of picking an Eladrin elf, which I should have just picked a wood elf, because the concept is just a little bit more confusing. So it's like an Eladrin elf is one from like another worldly plane or something. So
Indeed.
they come from the Feywilds, also known as. Hang on, look, I've got notes. That's how prepared I am. I'm not kidding. Arborea.
Nice.
Also known as the Olympian Glades.
Nice.
Wow.
I thought you said allergies. I was like, allergy elf?
My character has allergies. Yeah.
She's a druid. She's going to be sneezing constantly.
And so
the Arborean Glades, it sounds very agricultural.
It does.
The Olympian Glades sounds like a gated community.
It kind of is. It's in a separate plane of existence.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of works.
That's fair.
But effective gate.
It's very, very fitting.
So we left the 4 of you. So Sigg, I gotta get used to the new names. So John, you've renamed your character to Gill or Guillermo. Is that right? Frozen
again.
I've changed my name to Guillermo. Just so that
Guillermo, however you say that last name.
Guillermo.
It's really Italian.
Oh,
I can hear it.
Oh, John, you're cutting in and out, but I think we got you. So Guillermo, but everyone's just going to call you Gill for short. Is that right? Possibly, if they're friends.
Correct.
Okay, good. John's already in character, so that's
awesome.
Initiative.
Yes.
John gets initiative on every roll. Okay, so we've got Dave playing as Lorros Jotaro, a Goliath Barbarian, Reece as Sigg War Scholar, a human fighter, and Shanon as Baron Byrem, a human wizard. I don't know if Baron is his title or his first name. So
his title
and first name is Baron. Baron.
No, actually, because Reece asked me my middle name last time for some random reason, and it really put me on the spot. I just said he had lots of middle names.
Yeah.
So I've been writing lots. So maybe at some point, if you ask me a middle name, I can give you one.
Never ask.
Many. Never ask again. But, yeah, it's just going to be the longest name ever.
Tell me 3 of your middle names.
I think my actual first name was Brintel or Brintel.
Are they all B's?
I like that.
No, they're not all B's.
They
Maybe
should
be. Yeah.
It should be.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
Yeah. And
We've got a fantasy Kardashian clan.
I think we left all of you playing a game of 3 Dragon Ante, I believe, because Sigg wanted to head south, but everyone else wanted to head south, but Sigg wanted to wait maybe another hour just to see if anyone was going to be leaving the village of Neverwinter, or the township of Neverwinter, before you guys head down to Phandalin. What I want to get from you, just to start this off, is basically a roll of a D100 to see who, at the end of the hour, won the most of it.
One of the most.
Joe, you can,
Awesome.
or Miraqen, you can set this one out, since you're not playing.
Am I doing it?
Yeah, please.
Just a D100.
Sig just rolled a 98.
That's pretty good.
May I add my proficiency to my 3?
Yeah. All right, so it looks...
It's a 6.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to try not to laugh at that voice every time that you talk in that voice. Okay, so I think
That is good because I'm not talking in any other voice.
I think we'll join. I think we'll join you guys just as the hour sort of kicks in or the ends. And as you guys are packing up, you do hear or see someone approaching you from Neverwinter has just left the gates, and that is a Eladrin elf by the name of Miraqen.
I call out.
Oh, I will add one thing. She is recognizable to both Lorros and Gill as from where you guys were playing Three Dragon Ante within the village.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Vanya Sule Nesa. How are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm being beaten down here. You cannot see.
How unfortunate.
My luck has not held out from the bar earlier. How is your luck?
We shall see.
Hmm.
Where are you on the way to?
We're waiting for this large fellow here in the chainmail to be satisfied that we may leave, for reasons I'm not entirely sure of.
I see.
But
And where are you headed?
we are headed for Phandalin.
I myself was on my way.
You are
Good.
welcome to join us. Apparently, we're taking in all types now.
Am I to deem that an insult upon my character?
It was more for him, and I point at Sigg.
That makes sense. Well, I suppose I could come along.
Excuse me,
You-
miss.
Yes,
Have you seen combat?
perhaps.
I'm just gonna look at this newcomer and see what her visual description is in my mind.
Yeah, Joe, do you want to describe Miraqen to the crew? What they see when they look at Miraqen?
Miraqen is an Eladrin elf of average size. She is a young, sprightly 150 years old, but has a sort of haunted look in her face and appears quite dour at most times. She is enshrouded in her druidly garb, which is cloaked and hooded, and carries a big staff with her.
Are you proficient in that staff in battle?
I don't see why you're pushing this line of questioning, sir. Do you wish to battle me? For
No,
I'm not
but-
interested in such things.
You're not interested in battle?
I
At
try to
all?
avoid it.
Hmm.
And I lean over towards Miraqen and I say, I told you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yes, I see the issue here.
Anyway, it must be an hour, right?
Yes, aren't you glad that I made us wait? Otherwise we would not have had this companion.
I am glad to see Nesa again. That is for sure.
Neighbor's dog is really killing me right now. God damn that dog. I mean, there is a dog barking in the wilderness. So,
Are we just outside the gates of the town, or is that what?
Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah, you're outside the gates. Yeah.
Okay, good.
If you guys want to continue talking, we can do that, or we can send you guys on your way to start the adventure. What are you guys wanting to do?
Well, I don't want to lose any more money right now, so
Fair enough.
I'll be happy to go.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's sort of just skip forward a few days of travel. You guys have spent the last few days following the high road south from Neverwinter, and you've just recently veered east along the Tribor Trail. You've encountered no trouble so far, but this territory can be dangerous. Bandits and outlaws have been known to lurk along this trail. What I need to know from you guys is what sort of formation are you guys traveling in?
I skip along in front of the party.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely not up the front.
You're definitely not up the front.
I like to be secure and just walk along at a medium pace in the middle.
Okay.
I'd like to stay up front with Gill, the character that irritates me the least, and also to keep a keen lookout for danger.
Okay. Sigg?
Sigg will be where Lorros is not. If Lorros is at the front, Sigg will be at the back. If Lorros is at the back, Sigg will be at the front.
Okay, Lorros, whereabouts are you?
Lorros will be at Gill's shoulder.
Oh, okay, all right. So
I'm hired to protect, so I will protect.
Okay, so basically what I've got is we've got Miraqen, Gill, and Lorros side by side at the front. Maybe Gill's a little one step ahead. And how far back are you guys, Sigg and Byron?
Striking distance, no less.
No less than striking distance. All right. And are you kind of wandering just sort of behind, or?
I'll be in the middle, maybe I don't think we're in a hurry, right? Maybe 5 paces behind.
Okay.
How far is striking distance?
5 feet by the Imperial rule.
Okay, so we're really close together here.
I think you're all pretty close.
I mean, I'm 2.5 feet behind.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's have a look.
And I sip my wine while walking.
Okay, so while you guys are walking, you've been on this specific tribal trail for about half a day. As you come around a bend, I'm just going to move you guys onto this map. I'm going to let you guys see where you guys are at.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so as you come around a bend, you spot 2 dead horses sprawled about 50 feet ahead of you, blocking the path. Each has several black feathered arrows sticking out of it, and the woods press close to the trail here with a steep embankment and dense thickets on each side.
Sorry, so is it like
Let's say you guys are probably a bit closer to the... you guys are 50 feet
low,
away, so we'll move you guys there. And there's still a dog strangely barking somewhere in the woods.
I think there must be some kind of dog who's attacked these animals. Lorros, thoughts?
Hold on. Did you say a dog?
This is no dog.
I haven't seen a dog use a bow and arrow before.
I have. Truly
Of
horrific
course,
sight.
of course you have.
I've seen many things.
Hmm.
Well, it's possible, but
This
might
is
be
truly a sickening sight.
not a dog.
Am I the only one that this looks like an ambush to?
Definitely not. This looks. I'm on high alert here.
Mm.
I think sometimes you need to slay your beasts of burden. Sometimes they don't need to carry your things anymore. And what better way to be rid of them?
That is disgusting.
So, Laura, I'm just going to rest my
What
hand
if-
on Gill's shoulder and look at and shake him a bit and say, "It's a trap. Step
is a
back, little
trap.
man."
Well,
I'm
what
just gonna
kind
pull
of
him
trap
back.
would that be though? It's like that's the worst trap I've ever seen. What are they luring us into? Some dead horses?
Hmm.
But I think there's been some sort of fight here. Can I see
think-
any other traces of fighting?
No. Basically, all you can see really is are these dead from the distance you're at. All you can see is the dead horses with these arrows sticking out of them.
How far back to the village?
Are you back to Neverwinter? Probably like 3.5 days worth of travel. Just one thing I haven't mentioned for anyone who's watching. We all know because of last week, but can you, John? Do you just want to talk about why Gill is on his way down to Phandalin? Someone just mentioned, we skipped the main hook that the campaign usually starts with, and I just thought maybe we could go over quickly why you guys are heading to Phandalin.
Yes, of course. I gathered the attentions of a young woman, and I came here. I came to Phandalin to seek some sort of gift for her. She's of noble birth, so mere gold and jewels are of no use. But I had heard that maybe perhaps there was something more interesting in Phandalin. So that's why I'm here. Lorros is with me because he owed me a small debt, and then the rest just kind of gathered around that.
Well, I heard there's a different type of government in not Phandalin.
Phandalin, yeah.
Phandalin.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, cool. And Sigg?
This Phandalin place has suffered greatly at the attacks of the orcs, and I determined that my village of Cragmaw can benefit from such loss.
Miraqen?
Well, I go where the winds take me. I've determined by my druidic divination that this is the next place that needs my help.
Perfect. And that's why everyone's on their way to Phandalin right now. So like I said, about 50 feet ahead of you, you've got 2 dead horses.
All right. Lorros is just going to grab Sigg by the shoulder. Sigg, with me. And he's just going to walk up and I'm turning to the other 3. Stay where you are. And we're just going to walk slowly up and check this out. Because I don't rate these.
Okay.
Good.
I follow behind Lorros.
You're not a good pet.
I'm just
kind of like,
keep an eagle eye out if I can.
I'll follow the others and try to stay out of sight of any vantage points.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to hide in this bush.
Do you guys have access to your tokens? Can you move them?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Feel free to do so.
Nice.
Sigg, if you want to follow, obviously the others are going to follow, even though I said to stay. But
yeah,
it's good that you listen.
So I pull out my notebook and I'm recording Lorros's actions. Mr. Lorros, what is next?
We should check out the horses and see why they are no longer alive.
I think
it seems
it's
odd.
pretty obvious.
You would check the horses first, then? Would you?
Suicide.
Yeah, suicide.
By arrows.
I have seen a horse commit suicide, yes.
Suicide by arrows, yeah. That makes sense.
Would you check this terrain to our right, Mr. Lorros?
I would leave that to you.
Interesting. I write this in my journal. Excuse me, miss. What was your name again?
Me?
Yes.
Miraqen.
Miraqen. 2 R's, I presume?
No.
Oh. Sorry.
Yes.
Would you check the terrain's features around us with your nature whatnots?
I can try that, yes.
They're called booms, Reece. You can't call them whatnots.
Yes, even better. Let's do that.
Well, I do have dominion over some wind powers. Perhaps I could sense something on the breeze.
A smell?
See if there are any sense of any other foul forces nearby.
Okay. Elves are trustworthy folk.
Thank you.
Why don't you give me a like a survival roll?
I have to remember how.
You can click it on your character sheet and roll 20.
Oops, I'm on the wrong one. Please hold.
Where is
what did you say,
Byron
survival?
gone?
Actually,
Survival.
Survival.
Yeah, we'll go survival.
Whilst Miraqen is doing her survival thing, I'd like to walk up to the horses and take a closer investigation.
Okay. Okay. So first of all, Miraqen does smell obviously the scent of something, something other than themselves and the horses. Some other kind of creature has been in this area.
I see. I smell the smell of foul creatures.
Yeah. Sorry.
Other than that of our current party, of course.
Yes.
Cool. And
Are they still here?
Sorry.
Are they still here?
Miraqen has only smelt that they're there, so I don't know. She'd have to make up her own. Miraqen has the information that she has, so you can't, you won't know if they're still there or not, I guess.
Oh, you rolled a 15.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I just know that their presence seems to have been nearby recently. I cannot tell you more.
It's a strong smell.
And it is foul.
And what's Lorros up to?
So I just want to have a closer look at the horses and sort of see if I can figure out where and how they came to be there.
Yeah, right. So you can tell that the arrows are definitely the thing that killed the horses, and it looks like they've been dead for about a day. You can see that like the saddlebags have been looted, and nearby there's like an empty leather map case by their sides as well. What I might get from you guys, just what is your guys what are we looking for here?
Passive perception?
No, actually, no.
Passive
Passive wisdom. Oh, which is perception. Well, it's your passive perception.
There's two passive wisdoms. There's perception and insight.
We'll go perception.
Insight's for checking what they're thinking.
Yeah. So we'll go perception.
Sigg has a passive wisdom perception of 12.
Okay.
Are we all doing that?
Yeah, I need to. And this basically, I need to know from all of you guys at the moment.
I've got a 10.
Okay.
10.
God, here we go again.
If Sigg was looking at roll 20, it's on the left-hand side, about midway down.
I'm clicking it frantically and nothing is happening.
I look at D&D Beyond.
You don't need to click it, just read the number.
Yeah.
Oh, 14.
Okay. Cool. As Lorros approaches these horses to check out what's going on, there is a bit of a rustling happening from the thickets on either side of this little ravine that you guys are in, and 5 goblins appear.
Yeah.
What?
That's super good.
Oh, wow.
Man.
That is brilliant.
That's really
And unfortunately, with all of your guys' passive perceptions, you are all surprised by their appearance, except for Miraqen, who was kind of a little bit more on edge thanks to her elven ways. And so, what I'm going to need for each of you guys is to roll initiative. I think what we can do is before you roll. Actually, wait a second. I need to start the timer. This is what I need to learn. The turn or thing. I think you can click on your token. And then roll initiative, and it should just appear.
Oh, cool. Okay. Click.
What? How do you roll initiative? You don't type it in. Is that what you're saying?
No, you just roll. You click initiative in your character sheet.
Yeah, that's the one.
Right, there's the character sheet.
Sigg is ready for battle with initiative score of 20.
Oh yeah, look at that. Love it.
13.
8.
I feel... Oh, there's initiative. I should be able to...
Where is
He's
it?
even got the... Oh, my
Oh, yeah.
goodness. John, how come you didn't know this?
Oh.
I'm a
Sorry.
bad DM. I didn't even have a goblin face.
Yeah, the goblin face is cool.
So good.
now,
Why wasn't there a horse version?
now, unfortunately, Sigg and Bryn, you go... Oh, no, sorry, you're Gill. It just showed up as Bryn for me. You guys are surprised, so you're going to miss the first little round here. John, how do you go through the turns? Do you click that little... Oh, there we go.
Yeah, just the next button.
There we go. So, unfortunately, as the goblins are going to be starting this round. Okay.
I can't be going first though.
I've got a funny feeling I can't be surprised.
Oh, is that true?
One moment. One moment.
No. Cheese? No. No.
That is not true. That is a lie.
That was a
I may
makeup.
be surprised.
You can be surprised. Okay. Well, in
I
that case,
can be surprised. Yes.
it unfortunately is the goblins' turn then. But it's thankfully for you guys, they're a little bit stupid and a little bit slow. The first of the three goblins basically are just catching their ground as they get themselves in position, and they let you know with an almighty roar: "You will be like them. You are dead. You will die. You think you can survive us? Not in a million years." I hope that's
The
not too loud.
confident goblin.
They are.
Oh, I love the goblins. They're awesome.
Yeah. And the goblins from behind.
Goblin on this.
The three up front are... What are they carrying? They're just going to be like attacking with... they've kind of... You can see that they're carrying just like scimitars. The ones at the back, however, are carrying short bows. And they go, "We killed the horses! You think you can survive our arrows?" And they...
We shouldn't laugh. This is kind of terrifying.
This is you guys should be very scared. And with that, one of them, which one are we going to look at first? This one up here, the one at the top, is going to aim at Lorros, obviously because he's the closest to the horses. And
Bring it on.
what are we going to do here? Oh, okay. Yeah, well, this is a fantastic start. The goblin basically has a crit failed straight off the bat.
Yeah!
Okay. Let's roll.
Absolutely terrified by the sight of this Goliath in front of him. Awesome.
Yeah. I'm going to roll a... Okay, so one of the things that we did last campaign, which John brought in, was the fumble table. So we're going to roll... I think, what dice... I've got to make sure I've got the right dice here. Oh, yeah, okay. No, that's a 12... How do you guys keep track of your dice?
Roll 20 does it all for me.
You learn.
Oh, okay, here we go. All right, okay, yeah. So we're going to do a D100 and see how bad this fail is. I've got real dice this time. Yeah. Oh my god. It's an 8. So, this is... Okay.
Out of 100.
Out of 100, it's 8%.
Oh, that's low.
It's very low. So if it was a higher number, then it wouldn't have been so bad of a crit. But this is almost as bad as it can get. So he lines Lorros up and he's like, "Yes, here we go. Yes, yes." And he's way too excited about the shot, and his arrow fires directly into the back of this goblin here. Doing 6 piercing damage. Okay, this the other goblin sees this happening. "You fool! You fool! You'll kill us before they do!" And he also lets go with an arrow towards Lorros, and rolls a 12. How's that against your AC? That's a miss. So he misses.
That is a miss.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a miss.
All right. So next up is Baron Byrem.
Okay, so it's not Sigg who got a 20.
Well, no, he was surprised.
I suppose, but I wasn't surprised. All right, cool. All right, well, I am going to attack the guy that just got an arrow in the back. I'm going to use something called Chill Touch, and a skeletal hand appears on the neck of the goblin, and it assails it with the chill of the grave.
Oh,
Oof.
Oh.
I have to try and hit.
Oh.
Oh, no, it
Oh.
I think he likes it.
yeah, it's pretty excited by it.
So that's a 23. So what is the was that like a to attack, was it? Like 23 to hit? Was
It's
it?
to attack, yeah.
Oh,
it's a
okay, yeah, so
1d8.
that's a hit.
Cool. Oh. 1d8, and that is a 4 damage.
Nice.
And the goblin is dead. He's that killed.
Whoa.
Goblin.
Nice.
I mean, he did get like an arrow to the back of the skull by his friend, so
Yeah,
he's not doing
that was
too well.
good luck for him. I'm going to just hide behind the trunk of this tree.
Oh, you're over there. Wow.
Yes.
Damn, that was.
I'm just whispering from a distance.
Oh man,
love
I
it.
can't see you.
Not
over-
even see
So,
me.
I'm just
He
gonna
might
move
not
the-
have known where it came from.
How long? That was a decent.
That's a nice range on that.
That's a very
You
good
got
range.
120 feet.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
no.
that's well in range.
Yeah,
Nice.
can choke a man from a distance.
Is that you, Baron?
That's me.
Okay. Lorros, how you doing? It's your turn.
Right. So, Lorros basically knows one way and one way only. So he's going to pull out his very large Battleaxe, and he's just going to charge towards. I will highlight said goblin, this guy here. So he's just going to charge him, and the plan is to drop his Battleaxe into his skull.
Ooh.
Just drop it.
Just drop it with great force.
Are you gonna? So you're gonna?
It's coming. How tall would a goblin be?
Not very tall.
No, so Loris being 7.5 foot tall, coming from there and just it's coming down with a fair weight.
So are you running up next to them? Are you?
I'm going to charge up in front of him. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd just like to point out I accidentally drew on the map and I don't know how to get rid of it. So that's what that is.
Hello.
How do you do
Loris
that?
you select it and delete.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got rid of it for you. It's all good.
I was
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to measure things. How do I
There's
measure
like a
things?
circle with like a ruler that does not look like a circle in a ruler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What is dice?
I'm doing it. Okay, carry on. Sorry.
All right, cool. So yes, Loris is charging up, and he is going to announce himself in a very kind of way,
Cool.
loud scream, making himself known. Charge up at this guy and drop his Battleaxe. When I find it, ran his Battleaxe through his head.
Yeah. Roll to hit.
It was great axe. Here it is. Ta-da. Drag. Right. It is a 22.
Yeah, that's it.
A solid hit.
Ooh.
Oof.
And for some reason, it's not rolling the damage. I don't know why I haven't kept that in. I'll work that out.
Yeah, you got to do that in settings, I think.
Yeah, I'll add that for next time. Sorry. So it does 1d12 plus 3. So I'll roll that. 1d12. That's 4. Sorry. It's 12. No, 15.
Dang. Yeah, you basically. So you're just bringing that thing down straight on his head, yeah?
Yeah. If I can cleave his head, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and you
Okay.
do. That thing just goes straight through its head like butter. He is one incredibly unwell, dead goblin.
So after finishing that one, I'm just going to look to my right at this other goblin, kind of just silently staring at him, suggesting that he's next.
He's freaking out a little bit after seeing his friend like cleaved beautifully in half.
And that is Loris done.
Cool, Miraqen.
Right. So she sees the archers off in the distance and really needs to neutralize those. So I'm going to try to cast Entangle on them. So I'm going to try and figure out how to do that. Please hold. How do I do that?
Well, Entangle.
If I click this,
if you click it, it'll sort of tell us what it does.
it did a thing.
So, do you want to read that out?
Right, grasping weeds and vines sprout from the ground in a 20-foot square starting from a point within range. So she aims it right in between the two far goblins and grasps them both in the weeds to grab their arms and stop them being able to move or fire arrows.
Okay, that's fair. So they need to succeed on a saving throw, but what is it? What do they have to... The creature
They have to do a strength check.
Against your spell
Against
save.
my spell
Do you
save.
know your spell save?
Maybe.
All right, I'll do a strength check for each one.
Let me see if I...
In roll 20, if you click spells, it will tell you what your spell save DC is in the top 3 boxes.
12.
12.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so in that case, we've got this little goblin, the one that did the crit fail. He's well and truly entangled in there. He's I'm having the worst luck today. The other one definitely dives out of the way. Out of the way of the things.
Foul beast!
But you have managed. Actually, he's going to take a few steps backwards, I think, because he's seen a few of your. He's going to have to take a few if it's 20. He's seen a few of his friends get killed. He's got one of his mates entangled, and he's pretty much rethinking his life decisions right now. Is there anything else from you, Miraqen?
I don't know. What is a bonus action that I can do? Is that a thing?
Yeah, every turn you get an action and a bonus action, so you're welcome.
Can I crouch into cover underneath the rock ledge?
Yeah, I mean, like, you've still got movement, so you can absolutely do that.
I'm going to just run up under the ledge just to hopefully shield from any incoming fire.
Okay, cool. Okay. Is that you?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Sigg, Mr. War Scholar.
So, the foulest of scum, and Sigg's gonna raise his shield and charge at the first goblin next to Lorros. And as he impacts, he's gonna drive his short sword into his clavicle.
Oof, okay, roll to hit.
Do it. Sigg rolls a 14.
And it basically just glances over the shoulder. There's a slight. He ducks. He ducks.
No!
He ducks at just the right moment, and it gleams right over his shoulder, but next to his head. See, we can never be beaten. And that's yeah. And he's kind of mocking you now.
And with Sigg's bonus action, he'll spit vile spittle on his face.
Yummy. Okay.
That's me.
Okay. Guillermo.
Okay, I'm going to step forward. And I'm going to pull from my back my lyre. And I'm just going to start a little wee ditty.
Oh.
Lorros, did you ever know that you're my hero? You're the barbarian I need you to be. And you feel waves of inspiration.
Oh, brilliant.
So you get bardic inspiration, which I've put in the chat, hopefully.
That's a long one.
That's a long story.
And just while you read that, I'm
Take
then
the next half hour to read that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a bonus action. So I'm going to turn to the final guy in this row here,
Uh-oh.
and I'm just gonna say to him, I'm not sure whether to hold person or charm person or hold monster on you.
Oh.
Flattery will
and
get you
he-
nowhere.
And he is subject to vicious mockery.
Oh.
If he can hear me, he must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw against my DC, which is 13, or take 1d4 psychic and have disadvantage on his next attack roll.
Yikes. I'm thinking this is probably going to go not too well for him. So what did he have to roll, sorry?
13.
He rolled a 13. That's a save.
So-
He's all right? Or is that
So
a
he
fail?
saves.
It's a save. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So like I said, he basically stares you down and he's like, yes, I love it when you talk to me that way.
Oh, dear.
And that's my turn.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Okay. It is the Goblin's turn again.
It's hard to hate these guys.
That's the whole
I want to
idea.
get them, but I kind of like them.
the goblin that just had vicious mockery aimed at it is quite. You've actually accidentally kind of inspired him to really. At first, he saw his mates next to him get cut down, but you've kind of like you've stirred the fight within him, and he looks to Sigg in front of him and rolls to attack with his scimitar. Basically, goes to attack with his scimitar. He rolls a 22.
Oh!
Is
Sigg
that
is hit by the foul blade.
And he has done 6 slashing damage.
Oh God! No!
Just
Swine!
yes. Okay, and then he looks over at Lorros as well. You're next, pretty boy. Okay, the one that's struggling in the vines. So what happens with that? Is he did not save. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Career of Offense can use its action. Oh, so he's got to keep trying to break out. All right. So he's going to try to break out again. And he is still restrained. He is not having a fun time, and he's cursing it up. I can't.
And Miraqen's just standing there like going.
I would cut to the goblin, but I don't have censoring on here at the moment, so I won't. The other goblin that's free kind of assesses the situation and confidently strides back up a bit more, pulls his bow and arrow out, his short bow, sorry, and sees that Sigg has taken damage and eyes him up as well. And that is a. I feel bad already. That is a 16.
Ooh! The armor is greater than your bow, fool.
Nice.
My armor cost is 19.
I'll get you next time. So that is the goblin's turn. Back to Byron, hiding in the bushes.
Okay, sorry, that's me.
Yeah.
Forgot that's me.
Baron.
Okay, Baron is looking around the corner. And he's pulled his book out and he's flipping through his book. There's nothing that he can actually think of to actually do beyond a similar thing. And so he does the same thing and he gets the guy that's just attacked Sigg. Sigg. So he's whispering under his breath. The one that's next to Sigg.
Lorros.
Was that Lorros? Where's Sigg?
Oh, sorry. All right. Yeah,
Here
sorry.
I am.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm in battle.
Yeah. And he lifts up his hand and he's whispering and dark, cold thoughts and a skeletal hand appears inside, hopefully, the goblin's chest and grips his heart.
Oh!
So,
Holy shit.
it's the same thing. So,
You just made it sound way more grim this time, that's all.
yeah.
That alone means it's probably going to succeed.
And I think it's just it's a +5, I think. Yeah. I'm going to use this rolling thing that I've never used before in Roll20. I didn't even know it existed. Did it show up? 15.
That is... so he's got an armor class of 15. That's a hit, right? I'm just trying to get those rules. If it matches the armor class, it's a hit? Or is it a fail?
Yeah.
It's a hit. All right, that is it.
I think you mean jazz.
Jazz.
Oh, yes.
Okay, cool.
Apologies.
They could have gone either way.
I'm glad like the Twitch stream has my back on this as well. They're quite happy to let me know if I'm getting it wrong. So it's great. Thanks.
Okay,
for
so
coming
that
on.
is
That's my first time.
two damage to his little goblin heart, little black heart.
Okay. Cool. He definitely felt that. Let's have a quick look. But he's
target.
but it doesn't. He seems to be overacting. It doesn't seem to be doing as much damage as
This little smart ass, eh?
he is.
I don't know if he can even tell where I am. So I'm just going to go back behind the tree.
Okay.
The tree trunk.
Okay, cool.
And that's me done.
Perfect. Lorros.
Okay, so feeling unusually emboldened and inspired to step forward and take this down. I'm just going to push Sigg to the side. Step aside, little man. And I'm going to crush the dwarf and goblin in front of him with again another swift axe to the head. He kind of likes chopping things in half. It seems to be a cool thing.
All right.
And I think I'll use the Bardic Inspiration on the attack, just in case I have to call that up front.
You do.
Right. There you go. So here's the Great Axe attack, and I'll add my 1d6 onto that in attack. It is it's a 12, and I've got to add my 1d6. So please hold. Adding a 5 to that, so that would make that a 17.
Yeah, so that's a hit.
Cool. And then the damage is a 1d12 plus 3. So give me 2 seconds and I will find that. And I will roll it. And damage is... Whoops, sorry, take the... that rolled twice, I don't know why. Oh no, yeah, so that's 12 total damage.
Okay, so just want to describe what you're doing with your Great Axe this time?
So basically, yeah, so Lorros is just stepping aside, pushing Sigg to the side, just sort of looking at him, step aside, little man, and axe, once again, straight down across through the forehead, like you did before.
Yeah, okay. And it basically has been watching Sigg the whole time, and he quickly just kind of notices the great sword go up, and he's like, huh? And the axe just comes straight down into his head as well, and just splits it cleanly open. And he just kind of like just down to about here, to which he just goes and drops to the ground dead.
Cool. At him dropping, Lorros is just going to look to Sigg and snort. Look back to Gill, just to make sure he's okay, and then focus on the other one that's sort of 15 feet away.
Just flashes you a thumbs up.
Yeah, that's Lorros done.
Okay, cool. Miraqen.
Right. She's trying to hold him in the vines and can't concentrate anymore, so the spell dissipates, and she sort of blinks and looks around and goes, oh, and then looks over and sees a guy with his head cleaved in and goes, oh. But then regains her senses just enough to refocus her attention on the previously entangled one, and just stumbles forward, just still within cover as much as she can, and grabs a dagger out of her place where she keeps a dagger.
A scabbard.
And the scabbard, exactly right. That's what I meant. And I don't know how to do that either.
So are you tossing your dagger towards one of them?
Oh, dagger.
Towards which one? The top one or the bottom one?
The top one.
Okay, cool. So you just roll to attack. Just click on your dagger on your character sheet.
Here we go. Please.
Oh no!
What you get?
All right. What you rolled a 6, which was actually a critical failure with your with your +5 on top of that. So could I get you to roll a D100? You can. There's little icons on the left at the top left. There's one that looks like a dice. You should be able to click Advanced Dice Roller to roll a D100. Just select it from in there. So
yes.
So do you want to?
This is probably because she was feeling so sick. So she's all nauseous and just like tries to throw this dagger and it's bad. So I just do roll 1d100.
Yeah.
All right.
42. That's not too bad. That's could have been worse. What was Lorros?
I'm just checking. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So do you wanna? So what were you trying? Could you just explain what you were trying to do?
She was trying to throw the dagger at the enemy with the bow and arrow.
Okay, cool.
And she was stumbling and about to throw up.
Right.
She kind of croaked, "Die, foul beast!" And didn't do so great.
Yeah, it literally, like, you're basically up against like a sort of a wall with like rocks and little twigs and branches like jutting out of it, and you throw it and it literally just kind of like hits a rock in front of you and just bounces back into your face, but it's the blunt side, and you'll take just one sort of bludgeoning damage from that.
And die.
Yeah, that was all my hit points. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
You had one big hit point.
A single hit point.
My beautiful face.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to do or can do with your turn? Oh, by the way, if you guys are losing hit points, don't forget to adjust them in D&D Beyond so that when people are watching, they can mouse over the stream and sort of see live your hit points and things about your character.
One.
Yeah,
and
one.
I've done it.
1 damage.
8. I've got 8.
Oh. Is there anything else you'd like to be doing?
Just hunker down and try not to vomit.
Okay. All right. Sigg, you're up.
So I look to Lorros and nod. He will do good. And I point to the I point to the goblin on the right. I'll take right, you take left. And he charges into melee range.
Do you need some
And
water?
I swipe. I do need water. And I swipe to decapitate this foul foe.
Whew. Roll to hit.
And then hopefully stop her drink afterwards. And Sigg rolls a 24 critical hit into this skull.
Okay. All right. Roll double damage.
There's gonna be some messed up goblin.
Yeah, I don't think that's not going to be a healthy goblin. I don't think.
All right. Yeah. So,
he's
2
dead,
rolls of a 5 on a d6 plus 2 strength modifier, 12 damage to the skull.
Okay, do you want to explain? He dies, so I want you can explain how he dies.
So Sigg charges up, swings his short sword, cleaves half of his neck, pauses for a moment, then twists his blade, severing the head. Spits, hooked. Goblin filth.
Okay, yeah, he's dead. He's out. Is there anything else you'd like to do there, Sigg?
Sigg will just signal Lorros to take the one on the left.
All right, cool. And we're over to Gill.
My time of taking you seriously is coming to a middle. And I launch Vicious Mockery again at this guy.
Okay.
So he needs to make a wisdom save.
Okay.
13 is the score to beat.
And he rolls a 13.
Oh.
Your Vicious Mockery is having no effect, even though I think it's because he's preoccupied with these vines. Where are we? These fucking vines! Shit! He didn't quite hear what you were saying, I think, and therefore brushes it off.
That's my turn.
Okay, well, it's the goblin's turn once more, and he's just going to try and he's having a hell of a time. He is still stuck firmly in these vines. But what he does do with the remainder of his turn is yell, "Run! Go fetch the others!" And you see out of one of the thickets. Sorry, I've got so many screens and stuff going on. The thicket next to him moves suddenly, and another one appears, and he just bursts. He just bolts for it up towards the north. And that's the goblin's turn.
Asshole.
Yeah, so Byron, it's your turn.
I want to just yell out that we should question him. Don't kill him. How many others are coming and where are they coming from and why?
Byron screams from the bushes 30 foot behind everyone.
Yeah, because that's all I'm going to say.
Okay. And is that all you want to do your turn?
Yes.
Okay. Lorros.
So Lorros obviously quite pumped up from the battle, having basically cleaved two goblins' heads in twain. He's looking for a third, and given his primary focus is to protect Gill, and given that Sigg has basically instructed him to take care of the third goblin, that's what he's going to do. So, in his now already traditional manner, he's going to he's created a habit already. I'm sorry.
It was bound to happen.
It's going to happen. It was always going to happen. So he's going to, with axe wielded above his head, he's going to charge the third goblin with the intention of splitting his head in two. Now, am I right that the Bardic Inspiration has gone, or that loses after I've used it once? Is that right?
Yes.
That's really kind of creepy. Sorry, John. So yes, I'll do this. So I'm now facing. Do I take any disadvantage or any struggling running through the vines? Do they affect me at all?
Well, it's only
They've
like
dissipated
it's only like
now.
15 foot, so I mean you'll be able to get to him no problem.
Are you saying they're not there anymore? You're not concentrating on it?
Oh,
I think they wither once the concentration ends.
have you
Yeah,
stopped concentrating?
concentration only ends if you
I
do
think
another
they might.
concentration
It
spell.
says they wilt away when the spell ends.
Yeah. So are you still concentrating on the
No,
spell?
you
You're
can
not?
only do it for a minute.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So every round is 6 seconds. So you've got 10 rounds that you can keep that there for.
Oh,
Or you can choose to stop concentrating.
she already stopped and banged herself on the head with a dagger instead.
Fair
Didn't know I could do it that long though. That would have been. Should have paid attention to that.
And if you have a concentration spell, that only will stop if you get hit or if you do another concentration spell that you want to do instead.
Yeah.
Right.
So theoretically, look, we'll say that the vines are still there because I did roll to get him out at his turn. He should have gone free then, but we'll say that the vines are still there. That you didn't lose concentration when you threw the dagger. Otherwise,
That seems like
otherwise he
cheating.
would. That's right. Otherwise, he would have run. So he's still there.
Okay.
all right.
So Lorros isn't going to be affected because he's not restrained by the more entangled. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. So I'm just going to charge up to the goblin and smash him in the head. I'm not going to say anything because there's
Roll
just
to
no
hit.
point. I'm going to enjoy
I
this.
already know what's going to happen. This poor goblin. He just, as you
It's a 19.
as you roll, he looks up at you and says, "Don't hurt me, please. please don't hurt me." Does that change your minds at all, John? Sorry, Dave? No. All right, that comes down and definitely hurts him. But for how much?
You want to see 1d12 plus 3? Hang on, so I'm going to roll it
I
again.
like that it's a
this.
D12. That's very high.
It's great. Great X's are brilliant. It's a 9.
Dave, I should say, Lorros, his head too splits neatly down the middle, this time through to the sternum. He is
Cool.
cleaved beautifully in half.
Lorros has got one thing to say to this goblin. Scum feel no pain. And he's just... Then we'll look back to Sigg. and that's it.
I thought else didn't exist in this world, Dave.
This is a new this is a thing that I thought. Sig and I are basically the two bodyguards in this. It seems like,
That's
given
fair.
he's writing down everything I do, he should be noting down how many kills I take.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That's fair. It's not an oust.
A deeper voice.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that Lorros' turn?
That is Lorros' turn. He's just basically going to wipe the head of the axe on his arm, and then stick it back across his back.
All right, Miraqen, over to you.
Where's that little fellow run off to? I suppose he's going to get more of his horrible friends. Regardless, I must heal. Poor Sigg. So she runs to Sigg and casts Heal Wounds. Somehow.
Just if you click Heal Wounds, it'll. say
I
what you
think
need to
I
do.
did it.
Oh, there we go.
So she places her hand gently on him, reluctantly even.
I don't know. Can you guys see what Joe rolled there? Because I can, as a DM, it's showing up.
8.
It's
Oh, yeah,
8.
cool.
It's an 8.
All right, cool.
Do I just add it to my health?
Yeah. Cool. Is that you, Miraqen? Do you have to be standing near Sigg to do this, or?
Yes, I ran up to him and had to touch him to do it.
We'll just put you up there then.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, Sigg, Mr. War Scholar.
Nice. Rejuvenation flows through my body and fuels my hate towards the goblin scum. I nod at Miraqen as I bolt as a dashing move towards the fleeing goblin, and I attempt to tackle him downwards to the ground.
All right, we'll do a strength check here.
Do I click on the strength button or the
Yeah.
saving throw button?
The strength button.
A 16.
Oh yeah, you take him to the ground. It's a very deeper. It's a deeper voice on that goblin. He's taken to the ground. Yeah, so he's down on the ground. But he's a squirmy boy. Well, normally the tackle would have been counted as an action, but we'll count that as a bonus action in this case. Yeah. Otherwise, you'd have just like been looking at him really close and awkwardly. Yeah, cool. Gill.
So he's pinned.
He is currently pinned to the ground, yeah, by a big Sigg War Scholar. Timmy6663, thank you for following us. I assume me breaking the rules is what helped you decide to follow us tonight. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, sorry, Gill.
I'm just going to start striding slowly and confidently in their direction, and nothing more.
Okay. It is the Goblin's turn, and he's just going to spend his. He's not even going to try and struggling against Sigg. He's just going to start sort of pleading. No, please, not me. I get why you killed them, but I was just hiding. Don't hurt me. Why would you ever hurt me? Not little Billy Goblin. Don't hurt Billy Goblin.
Billy Goblin.
and that's Billy Goblin's turn. Baron Byrem, it's your turn.
Okay, I think he's quite far away from me. Let's see. It won't even reach across my screen. But I'm going to come out of my defensive position.
Oh, you're feeling brave now.
Yeah, so I'm going to walk over, but I can't reach. I'm just going to yell out to Sigg. Find out how many more goblins there are.
Okay.
But that's all.
Cool. Lorros. This is the loose cannon. This is the loose cannon here.
Lorros is not a loose cannon. He's a very controlled cannon.
I'm just gonna place Sigg on top of the goblin just to make sure that. Yeah. There we go.
So, I think So seeing Sigg well in control of the goblin, I'm not worried about his safety or his endangerment. I'm going to turn my attention back to Gill, and in a very firm tone, little man, stay where you are. It's not safe yet. And I'm going to walk across and just make sure that Gill doesn't venture any further towards Sigg and the goblin.
Okay. Cool.
And that's me.
Miraqen, it's all you.
Right. So she sees Sigg tackle the goblin, and she sort of starts forward and starts yelling, "Do not hurt Billy Goblin! Do not hurt Billy Goblin! We need him!
All you got to do is
I
give
have
them a
rope.
name.
We can tie him up."
And they don't want to hurt them anymore.
Starts grabbing up rope from her pack, but I don't know how
Tell that to
far I can run.
Colin.
Can I run right up?
Poor Colin. What was that? Sorry, Miraqen?
What was that?
It was
Colin
talking
the Goblin.
about dead NPCs from our last campaign.
So many dead NPCs.
So what were you wanting to do? Sorry, Miraqen?
I want to see. I don't know if I can run, how far I can run, because I'm
Oh, right.
new.
What's your speed?
My speed is. Let me just check my cheat sheet.
Yeah, sure. Eh?
Should be 30.
It'll be probably 30.
It's probably 30. It is.
Yeah, okay, so you can go 30
So I
feet.
could run. I could run right up.
Yeah.
You can walk that speed
Yeah.
around, or you can double it to run, but then you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So she just walks up while yelling, "Do not hurt Billy Goblin. We need the information from Billy Goblin." And takes a rope out of her pack. Can she attempt to bind him?
Yeah, sure. Billy.
If Sigg will let her, that is.
Yeah. Like if Sigg's happy to remove himself from Billy Goblin.
Given you have dashed, you wouldn't be able to, though, would you?
It's not a dash.
Is that your entire turn? It was
She
not a
didn't
dash.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I just walked.
Thanks to how
Nice.
broken the scale of this map is. Cool.
Yeah, it seems like
That's okay. It's all about the story. Don't worry about it.
So now,
So if Sigg's happy to remove himself, then by all means you can tie him up.
Sigg, will you help me tie up this boy? Tiny goblin man.
Sigg wonders if he can blend this into his turn.
How about I pass him the rope and say, "Sigg, bind the tiny disgusting beast."
You can do that. Okay. All right, cool. Is that your turn then, Mira?
Yeah.
Cool. Sigg.
So I turn over and look at Miraqen. I take the rope. I put down my sword and my shield. I look the goblin in the eye. Billy, was it?
Yes, sir.
Meat knifey. I will place it in his mouth and then punch the knife into his throat.
Whoa!
Poor Billy Goblin. Okay, roll to hit.
So not so keen on tying him up then.
That is a hit at 16. Roll for damage.
1d4 plus 2 is 1, and 2 is 3 damage of dagger to the face.
All right. So you pull the dagger back. You look up at Miraqen, and you clearly the look in your eyes says no thanks to the rope as you pull the dagger from your scabbard, and you go to basically you place your hand on the back of it and you go to ram it into his mouth, but Billy Goblin sees it coming and quickly just sort of off to the side. Off to the side, and it just scratches down the side of his cheek.
No, don't hurt Billy Goblin, I said.
Billy Goblin screams in agony and screams in agony. Did you want to move at all, Sigg, or are you good staying on top of poor Billy Goblin?
Sigg's thighs tighten like a vice around the foul scum.
Okay. It's metaphorically tightened because you've already done an action. So you're basically just tensing your thighs, and Billy is loving it. So,
The best kind of tightening.
yeah. It is Gill's turn.
I stride forward towards Billy Goblin and Miraqen and Sigg, and I say, Miraqen, I'm sorry about before. Surely what you must understand is, I mean, when a beast is lame, that is when you put it down. Not, you don't just randomly kill beasts. I deeply apologize, and that's how I'm going to spend my turn, just kind of inappropriately
Apologizing.
to Miraqen.
Does he have to roll for
Roll for apology, yeah.
roll for apology?
No, I'll let the
What would that be?
I'll let the characters decide whether or not they can take.
Would that be persuasion?
I don't know. Do you want John to roll for persuasion, or do you think?
Who are you apologising to?
Miraqen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was Billy.
Do you want John to roll to decide whether Miraqen accepts it, or what do you want to do?
I think I'll just do it. I thank you for the apology. I am busy trying not to throw up right now, and we can discuss this further in a minute.
Are you ill?
Yes, very. So much blood.
And with
And
that,
I'll,
oh, sorry, carry on.
was that my action, or
Oh
can
no, I
take
thought
action?
you can take an action if you like.
I'll just place my hand on Miraqen's shoulder and cast Cure Wounds.
Okay.
That more helps my ego than anything else. I did hit myself in the face with a dagger quite hard.
Didn't do the thing, sorry.
I love how your casting time is 1 Ectoin.
Twin!
Actoin.
What's an actoin? There's so much lore.
It looks like with
Four
deepest,
points of healing.
Was it 4 points? I thought it was 1. Okay, cool. You got the +3. Okay, cool. So you get 4 points of health back,
Ah.
the American,
Fantastic.
to cover the welt
My
that was
beautiful
growing.
face is restored.
Yeah. Is that you, Gill?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Cool. The goblin, in a lot of pain thanks to that new scar on his face, screams,
How dare you! You should have listened to the lovely woman over there. She knows that Billy Goblin poses no threat.
and with that he just kind of smashes his head forward into Sigg.
Oh!
What do we got here?
Face the chainmail, that's going to hurt.
Oh yeah, for sure. Plus he's not overly strong, to be honest. He just rolls a 13. And I'm assuming that yeah. But he does manage to smear some blood on just your on your kind of face area as he glances past. There's a bit of goblin blood now on the side of Sigg's face. Byron.
Okay, well, I'm going to walk over to these dead goblins, and I'm going to be having I'll pull out a little hip flask and have a sip or something there. And I'll just call out to Billy Goblin. If I was you, I'd start speaking some information pretty quickly, because I don't think you've got many friends over there. And in the meantime, I'm going to pull out, I'm going to start examining these dead bodies, and I'm going to roll out a scalpel set, and I'm going to start to go through their dead bodies.
Whew, all right. I'm starting to really like Byron here. This is great. Let's see what have we got here. Are you just trying to like take parts off them, or like what are you trying to do?
No. I'm just going to examine them. I'm going to see if there's any clues to like who they are. But I'm actually just interested in what a goblin's physiology is.
Okay, can you roll survival?
Yes. Okay. It wouldn't be maybe medicine or like.
You're not really...
survival. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, I'm gonna go with survival. It's, yeah.
Not sure what yet. Oop. 15.
All right, cool. You seem to have a knack for cutting goblins open, and you have a little look through the one. You can see that he indeed died to a great axe to the head. The majority of them is already sort of cut open for you, which definitely helped with this.
So I can see the brain.
Yeah,
the
you can see that he's eaten some sort of like just. There's still like a half dissolved, sort of like half eaten away rat inside his stomach. You can sort of see. You can see his last meal.
It's not the humans.
Yeah, but he's kind of really got nothing on him. He's got his scimitar, and that's it, and a half-eaten rat.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Is that all your turn?
Yeah. Most of it was just giving some advice to the Billy Goblin.
Yeah. Cool.
To talk, but I don't think it's any of them. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what Lorros's great axe has to say about it, I guess.
Well, quite clearly, Lorros is now seeing both Miraqen and Gill not listen to his instructions to stay away from the goblin, although it was more directed at Gill, who clearly isn't one for listening to his protector. So Lorros is just going to stride over and through the two of them that are there, just kind of barging his way through and knocking these two little pint-sized people out of the way. Seeing Sigg lying on top of the goblin, is his head quite clearly visible? Like I can see from his shoulders up. I'm assuming that's what Sigg's kind of.
No, like so they're almost face to face, basically. So okay. Sigg's maybe 10 centimeters down. You can see from maybe the top part of. I shouldn't give you that, but there's about that much of the goblin's head. Visible under Sigg.
Not wanting to risk injuring Sigg with his axe, being a bit more cautious than certain other people that we have known. Lorros is basically going to sort of stand there, look at Sigg, give him a bit of a nudge, move, and as soon as Sigg moves, he's literally just going to get his foot and he's going to crush the goblin's face. He's just going to stomp him.
Yeah, you're gonna have to wait and see what Sigg does. I think so. You might have to wait for that one.
That's fine. I'm as soon as Sigg moves, he's literally just going to go.
Man.
With his foot.
Billy Goblin's got no friends right now. Okay,
he's a goblin. He's not meant to have friends.
Miraqen, it's all you.
Absolute brutes all around me. Disgusting.
What do you expect?
Absolutely disgusting. You all are lowering yourself to the level of said goblins, and I have no choice but to step aside. So she just walks to the side and averts her eyes.
So you're an accomplice. You're an accomplice to this, Miraqen.
Oh, implicitly.
She just picks up a rope and just walks off and looks into the trees.
Okay, what's your passive perception?
Good question.
It's probably still 14.
Okay, cool. I feel like Reece has got a really good memory for these things.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee I'll be asking you literally every time. Okay. You've kind of noticed that there's like some sort of tracks leading north from your position. Could you give me a survival check?
Yes, I can. I'm looking very hard. Done.
An 11 is there's okay, yeah, cool. So you basically see that you see basically just goblin tracks. It looks like there's like could easily be about a dozen that have come and gone, and sort of almost make a makeshift sort of trail to the north. So what I might do just to help visualize that a little bit is you can sort of see a trail going up this way of a dozen or so footsteps. Footsteps of about a dozen goblins or so. But you can also sort of see some drag marks, like whatever goblins were there had dragged away. Maybe a couple of bodies. They look kind of like the width of what a body might be, whether it was a human body or another animal body or something. It could be something they've hunted, or you can see that there are drag marks leading north with those 12 goblins, around 12 goblins. Okay, cool.
She mutters to herself, foul aberrations.
Fair.
Fair and true.
Yeah, Sigg, what are you doing to our friend Billy Goblin?
So I notice Lorros approach, and he taps me on the shoulder, and I know what he's going to do. So I pull my knife down away from his mouth, and I lower it under his neck, and allow Lorros to kick his head, so I can jam my knife underneath as he kicks down from the top.
Alright.
A combination attack, if you will.
Lorros, I'm assuming you had readied that action? Yeah.
I was ready to go.
Roll to hit.
What is an unarmed attack in this thingy? That's the thing. Is it just 1d20 plus your strength modifier, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Alright. Please hold core and I'll do that.
Sigg rolls his dagger attack. For a 13, perhaps with advantage for a 16, since he's
Oh, that's only a 10. Sorry.
Okay.
That's a real piss.
Well, you are on top of the goblin, so I didn't realize you were going in for attack, but absolutely you should have advantage on that. He's not exactly in a position to dodge.
Actually, because he's prone, do I get an advantage as well?
You do. Let's roll yours as well.
Don't kick the dagger.
I have no intention of kicking the dagger. The second time is 12. God, it's not much better.
Cool. And we will figure out exactly what happened with that is when we get back from a nice 5-minute break, so Reece can finally get a drink. And I am sweating in this room. I need to open a window. So we'll be back in about 5 or so minutes. We'll see you guys to find out what happened to poor Billy Goblin. See you guys very shortly. All right, so you guys rolled. What was the roll? We've got Reece 13 plus. It was just the 16. It was with
the 16 with the
advantage. It was a 16.
And Lorros got a 12. Okay, well, it looks like so. Sigg, do you want to explain what you do?
So Sigg notices Lorros approach, and he gets tapped on the shoulder by him, and he's aware of this combo move. He's used it once before. He readies the knife underneath the goblin's neck and awaits Lorros to kick, and at the same time he'll thrust it underneath his jaw into the goblin's foul brain.
So Lorros's kick swipes straight past the side of the goblin's head, and straight past your head as well, Sigg. Just barely missing both of you. But instinctively, as you go to dodge, the blade slices across into the goblin's head. Doing what damage? We need you to roll damage.
How about I click it again for just the damage roll part of it? 4 damage.
4 damage. Ooh, okay, that's enough. You see, how quickly are you jamming this thing into? Obviously, the kick is missed. So what are you doing with the blade now?
Pushing it up into his brain from underneath.
All right.
His nape.
Okay. It enters into his neck. And then punches.
That's all he's got to say.
Because it basically, with the speed that you push it into, it hits the brainstem and kills him outright. He is no more. Billy, no friends, Goblin. is
Billy,
dead.
half a friend.
Yeah, turned her back, didn't she?
Yeah.
So
Son of God.
yeah. All right. So you
Wow.
guys have successfully killed your first set of goblins.
Yeah.
Yay!
And the battle is over.
Hmm.
What do you do?
The day is won, Lorros. Well done.
Doesn't need to say anything. He's like, yep, I know. Just a gentle nod in recognition.
Good.
Sigg looks up and looks around. Is there any more of them? There are always more.
Indeed, the day may not be one after all. Look.
Look at what?
Nice reaction. Thank you, it is important. Come see. These abhorrent beasts apparently have been dragging something. What do you suppose it is? Also, I think the horses didn't commit suicide.
As I stand up from the goblin, I kick Billy in the head and walk over to Miraqen. What have you found?
Look, tracks.
Milk tracks.
Milk tracks?
The
No.
cow was being,
Just
Look.
Oh, I thought you'd found some milk tracks.
What?
skid marks.
Well, if you want to kill more, which you seem very adept at, I'd suggest you go this way.
Mr. Gill, is this the way to Phandalin, to the north?
Do I know if that's the way to Phandalin? It would seem to be the wrong way, but I'm not sure.
Miraqen, do you know the way to Phandalin from here?
Yes, I do. She
Is
lies.
it north?
Maybe. Let
Hmm.
me see if I can sense anything.
So you all know that you were heading sort of south from Neverwinter and then east across along the Tribord Trail, which would eventually take you to Phandalin. So you all know that the direction you were heading is the direction Phandalin would be.
So
This
we're
is
heading
not the
Right.
way to
downwards.
Phandalin.
We need to be on the road.
I suggest we also stay on the beaten path.
Are we going to leave the previous travelers to their doom? We know their horses were killed. We know something was dragged through this mud.
That's very astute of you.
That's a good point.
Why
I
would
roll
they keep
my-
them alive?
Indeed.
Mm.
Should we not find
Yes.
out?
Rescuing travelers does not pay. That's all I've got to say.
What is your fee, Mr. Lorros?
What is the wizard eating? By the way.
My trail mix.
He's already deep into his rations.
And
I
you
have
thought
the
it not
monkeys.
worth sharing, I see.
He's a human wizard, of course, you know. What's he going to share with an elven druid?
Munchies have struck me on the trail.
I think while you guys are sort of standing around deciding what to do, Sigg, you've noticed that it looks like this area has probably been used by the goblins a fair bit to sort of set up ambushes and stuff like that. That's the kind of what you get from the fact that there were goblins here. There are drag marks away. There are dead horses. You can see dried blood around the spot from maybe previous kills as well. So you think this is something that the goblins do maybe quite often.
If we plan on returning to Neverwinter after our adventure in Phandalin, would we not use the same road? Will we leave this goblin scum to multiply and increase the threat? I think not.
fighting them on their own territory seems risky, perhaps ill-advised.
It would be good if we knew how many more there were going to be.
What's that sound?
One of those dogs again.
A tale would surely be as rewarding as any jewel for my betrothed. I would happily go after these beasts.
At that, Sigg pulls out his book and puts a big tick next to Gill's name. I thought you were a smart one, Gill. Mr. Lorros, I will compensate you in coins of gold if you accompany us. Your skill in battle is unmatched.
Agreed.
What is your price?
I take 2 gold per goblin head.
Your skill in battle is superior, but your math is not. I will compensate you in fair coin when we return to the path. Miraqen, your healing and naturey wizardry was commendable. My wound is already feeling better. You too. I can pay you in coin if you wish to venture north with us.
I will join you, as I sense you have a talent for murder, and I may need that in the future.
Miraqen, 2 hours, isn't it?
No.
We cannot have
Absolutely
3. That is fanciful. And where's that other idiot gone? Laura, where's your second charge?
I'm just going to look over your book and just go, Sacudir Lanza. 2 hours. Sacudir
I knew it. Thank you, Mr. Gill.
Yeah,
2 hours, man.
I seek not your approval, but do I also get a tick?
But of course.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Lorros, where is your second charge? The funny one. The rich one. Not this guy, the other guy. Where is
Billy.
Billy's only had one. There's Gill.
I think he means the Baron.
He wasn't. I wasn't paid to look after him.
Oh.
I was paid to look after Gill, and I shall do so.
By the way, am I correct in saying that you hid in a bush the entire time? Because I do not find that commendable in the slightest. Please give him a cross, Sigg.
Talking to me?
Yes.
You are wise, Miraqen, as well as you are skilled. 2 crosses, one for me, one for you. And I shout out, Byron, come.
Byrem's rolling up his scalpels, and he looks up and stands up and says, I'm not too bothered what you think about me.
That's fair.
But I don't want to be left down the road by myself. So I'll join you.
By the way, did anyone notice that he was doing magic from the bush? Or
Probably not.
It was behind us by 60 feet.
Yeah, I mean,
so
you guys.
everyone thinks he did literally nothing.
Yeah.
Other than
We
cutting
saw
up
him
the dead bodies that
I'm not even sure we saw him hide, did we? We just kind of charged in battle, and he just didn't come.
All right, cool. So are you guys all moving north, or is there more you'd like to do in this area?
Sigg's gonna look over the...
So, Gill, am I to assume we are hunting goblins now?
We are hunting goblins.
Okay.
I think. We are hunting stories. We're hunting stories, just as we always have.
We must save those poor innocent people whose horses died. If they are indeed still alive.
Before we depart, should we check these scum for anything valuable?
Yes.
Sometimes their knives are not terribly blunt.
Yeah.
Yes, we should.
Okay, I mean, so basically the three at the front, one of which has been completely autopsied by by the Baron. They're just holding the scimitars. The two at the back have short bows, but the little Billy Goblin has 3 gold coins in his little satchel and no weapons. Not a weapon to be seen.
Oh.
Sigg wonders who finds the gold coins.
I mean, you could split them. You could have half a gold piece each somehow. It's up to you guys to decide. You guys have found 3 gold pieces. Who wants to hold on to those for you?
Mr. Lorros, is 1 coin for each head.
Sweet.
And I toss it towards Mr. Lorros.
All right. And so are you guys all heading north now? Or?
And just before we
I
depart,
would like to take a short bow, as I actually am quite proficient with said weapon.
Oh, fantastic.
So I may avail him of his short bow.
Great. Feel free to add that into your character sheet.
Sigg too will take a short
Just give
bow.
me 20 minutes and I'll have that all figured out.
Just yeah. If you just search for it in the compendium thing and drag it over, it'll be in there.
All right.
And because
Sigg
you're
too.
proficient, it'll all be set up.
Excellent.
Yeah, cool. Sigg, is there something you want
I'll
to
grab
do?
a short bow too.
Be my guest.
And arrows.
Okay.
Going
All
to
right.
get
I'm
flanked.
not going to count your arrows. Let's just say, as long as you don't go stupid with them, I won't make you pick them up afterwards.
I fire 500 arrows at this beast.
Yeah.
Have a quiver of unlimited arrows.
Yeah, cool. Heading north.
I'm ready to depart if you lot are.
All right. So I'll ask the same thing I asked last time. What sort of formation are you heading off this time?
Lorros is just going to follow Gill because he's still not 100% certain that Gill's really doing the right thing, given he was heading off to find some jewel for a thing. So I'm just going to follow Gill at his left shoulder.
Okay. Gill, are you at the
I'm
front?
going
or-
I'm going to hang back this time and just strike up a conversation with the Baron, just see where he's from and why he wanted to autopsy that goblin, and just learn a little bit more about my dark companion.
I shall lurk in the middle, just listening in.
Sigg will lead.
Okay. All right, so you guys all head north, following this trail of footsteps and the drag marks of whatever that could be. We're gonna kind of like jump forward maybe 10 minutes. Is there anything you guys want to be doing on the path as you're progressing?
Just
I guess I
scanning. Go on.
would just ask the Baron. So where are you from? Where is your barony?
I'm not sure if I can just make shit up, but
Sure.
so I would just assume that we're in Neverwinter, and there's big hills on there. Not that I know much about it, but there's hills, mansions, that sort of thing.
I see. That's a fine homestead indeed.
Am I freezing?
I think you're all right.
No?
Oh, I thought your voice dropped out.
And I'm curious as to your examination of those goblins. Seem very deliberate.
Yeah, I'm interested in the way things work. Did things, especially. You see, he pulls out a goblin arm and he's pulling on the tendon and seeing how the fingers close up when he pulls on different tendons. It's fascinating, isn't it? I've never had the chance to look at a goblin up close.
It's my God, man, that's like a machine.
Exactly. And maybe
Surely.
one day we could harness the machine, bring it back to life.
Surely all sentient beings, at least those good ones, are powered by some divine spark, not by mere mechanics.
Well, that's one belief. I pull out a little battery and I attach it to a nerve, and it starts to spaz out. Explain that one then.
Well, these creatures surely are not governed by some divine spark. They're beasts. They're less than beasts. They're foul.
The same thing works on a human, I can assure you.
Miraqen can't help herself anymore, and she spins around and just says, "Sir, I think you know not what you dabble with. This is very disturbing."
He pulls the tendon. He goes,
She just goes,
It's not that bad. Just a goblin. And it's not as bad as stoving in its head.
"You may have a point.
Interesting.
And I myself have been known to read entrails, but this is beyond regrettable."
It's just a quest for knowledge.
I can identify with that. Keep it away from me.
As you guys are progressing down the trail, Sigg spots a small circle of rope hidden under some really just sort of like a few leaves. It's not as disguised as they might have hoped it to be, but it's what is in front of you looks like a pretty shoddy made snare of some sort. And you can see the footsteps go around it as well, just to clearly show that there is something in front of you.
A snare is in a drum or a snare?
A snare drum. It's a small snare drum. No, a small snare trap.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
You are
I
hoping for a
don't rush up.
musical ambush.
I don't rush up to play it.
Just go, ba-dum-bum.
Sigg stops just before the trap. He flicks to a new page in his book and sketches it.
Nice. So I think all of you have a perception, passive perception of like 14 or more, right? Is that right? What has everyone got?
14 for Miraqen, 12 for Sigg.
12 for Sigg.
Less
10.
for the rest.
Oh right, okay.
I'm
Cool.
14.
Okay, can I get a perception roll from Lorros and Byron?
Really?
Yeah.
Perception?
Yeah.
All right.
17, 11.
Okay, so the only one that hasn't, because you like obviously everyone else has noticed Sigg sort of stop and sketch this snare, but it looks like Lorros is just kind of in his own little world and sort of walks directly towards it. Is it Sigg? Have you noticed? Is there anything you want to do to try and maybe stop Lorros? He's basically heading directly towards it.
Sigg will throw his arm out. Wait, I haven't finished drawing.
Okay, can you do a dexterity check for me? Okay, yeah, that's cool. You stop Lorros just in time, just
Nice.
before he steps front foot directly in.
Okay, I'm finished drawing now. You can do what you can do with it with what you will.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
All right, and you guys want to just continue down the trail?
I guess so.
American.
I'm going to look up and see where the snare would have shot up to.
Yeah, it's just like this really sort of makeshift snare that would have, as soon as you would have stood on it, it would have just pulled your leg up, and you would have dangled maybe 10 foot above the ground just from a tree over the path that you're walking along. It doesn't look like it would have done too much more than just inconvenienced you.
American.
I say we cut it and destroy this trap.
Indeed. Take the rope. American, do you smell anything foul in this area?
Yes. In addition to our party, yes.
Yeah.
That's another tick.
As we walk down the road, I'm going to spend some time divining the ritual to detect magic.
Okay.
So if anything, I'll show you what it does. If anything magical comes across in the next kind of 10 minutes, I'll have some forewarning.
Okay, that's cool. That is fine. So are you guys just going to continue walking down the path? Same formation as before?
Sigg suggests, everyone, we should travel forth at only half pace. We know there are traps in this area.
Agreed.
Okay. Cool. All right, so another 10 minutes passes, and I will need to get, since you are actively looking for traps, who's out in front at the moment? Is it the same formation as before? Yeah, cool. So can we get a perception check from you? Yeah, cool.
17.
All right, so as you were kind of walking along, you knew that you've already passed one trap, that it's likely to be more traps on this way, down this path. As you know, it looks like you're heading towards where the goblins themselves were heading. So of course they've probably left other traps. And sure enough, just in front of you, sort of 5 to 10 feet in front of you, see another selection of branches and leaves and stuff, sort of maybe 6 feet wide in front of you and about maybe 1 or 2 feet across. And it's pretty obvious that it's been deliberately placed there. What would you like to do?
Sigg, do you see anything?
Do you want to warn your fellow mates or go around it? What do you want to do? Jump up and down on it?
Folks, I need to draw another one of their traps.
There's no time for drawing, man.
Is there time for falling into a pit?
Miraqen uses the cantrip, gust,
Oh.
and smoothly pushes the leaves around and forward to reveal the trap below.
Yeah, and basically it's with a big gust of wind, you see all the leaves, the sort of across the top, just float away, and you do see sort of underneath that it's just a big trap. There's no big spikes underneath. Again, just an annoying goblin trap that was made with very little brains, made to inconvenience you and maybe make you hurt your head as you fall, and that's about it.
I'm sorry I have ruined your drawing, but perhaps you could commit it to memory and draw it later.
My memory isn't what it once was, but your skills are formidable. Another tick for you, Miraqen.
Excellent.
Okay.
We must be on the right path if these fools are trying to keep us away. Mr. Lorros, what do you think?
I think we continue if we must.
Good. Let's go.
Okay, cool. So you continue down. Let's move you guys on to the next little section we've got set up for you. Oh, actually, wait a second. I do just need to maybe hide something first.
Ignore that, I'm just practicing.
Right.
Sigg wonders how you got that unarmed attack going in roll 20, Mr. Lorros.
I added it.
I
No,
tried
So
it's
to
basically,
punches
just
in the air.
create. So in roll 20, if you just go, you know, where your in your character sheet where you've got your weapons, you just you click the little plus sign at the bottom left and type in unarmed attack. It'll automatically, if you pick your whatever your modifier is, because you're proficient in unarmed attack, so you just map out what's in the unarmed strike information in D&D Beyond.
Thanks.
I think you can drag that one as well. You can just search it in the
Oh, can
compendium
you?
and drag it in, I think.
I tried dragging it, didn't care.
Yeah.
Short bow dragged all good, but not unarmed attack.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
weird. Yeah, I think we had to add that one.
Oh,
manually
yeah,
as
no,
well.
that was one that messed up.
Yeah. Let's see if the... Okay, this looks like it's at a better scale, I think.
Whoa.
All right. Is that all
Okay,
blacked out for
whoa.
you guys? Can you... Is there a
Yes,
bunch
The
of
bits we
blacked out
can't
stuff?
see, yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right,
Yeah.
perfect.
Although my guy is at the top here.
Wait, where's your guy?
I've got two of them.
I can only see one of your guys.
Okay.
Just ignore the one at the top, I guess.
He's up in the.
That's
black-
That's not dynamic lighting, is it? You've just scribbled all
Yeah,
that out.
yeah. Because I do
know.
not have a pro or premium account, so I just made do.
Brilliant.
Can you ping where your guy is? Sorry, Shannon.
I don't know if he's really there because I can't select him.
Oh right.
But, he's
Oh weird.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I'll
Nope.
fix that up if I see him later on. So
doesn't matter.
we'll ignore that guy for now. So following the Goblins Trail, you come across a large cave in a hillside 5 miles from the scene of the ambush. A shallow stream flows out of the cave mouth, which is screened by dense briar thicket. A narrow dry path leads into the cave on the right hand of the stream. Yeah, so what would you like to do?
What time of day are we at now?
That is a very good question that I hadn't thought of. So I'm gonna say it's like 2 in the afternoon.
What's the weather like?
It's crisp. It's a crisp and the grass. It's summer, and the grass is lush. You can hear the water from the stream, and it's making it's a good flowing sound. That one. It's bubbling, and you can hear the water going around rocks.
We're sorry we asked.
Perfect day for a picnic.
This is not one of those moments where you ask about a zoo. Let's carry on.
That is correct. Not yet, anyway.
Miraqen, does this water look clean to your eyes?
Do I have to roll for that?
I mean, it's you can. What would be good? Maybe nature.
Survival?
If you
Nature?
roll nature.
All
Hey, with a keen eye, you've seen water this crisp in numerous places.
Oh,
This is
Did you get a natural 20?
yeah.
Natural 20 on nature.
You recognize this as H2O, some of the finest around. Not only is it drinkable, but you could bathe a newborn in
This is
this.
Kid baby.
Cue a water boy reference.
Oh, we keep losing John. Yeah, so in front at the sort of the north side of the stream is a cave. There's a little path on the east side of the stream as well, heading into this cave. You can't really see much going on inside the cave from this distance. It looks like there's a little bit of a clearing off ahead of you as well.
So there's no stinky stuff in the water.
No, the water's pretty crisp.
I am quite surprised by the beauty, the crispness of this water, considering foul beasts lurk nearby.
Is
It
there
is a mystery to all, including me.
Don't clear it on.
I lean over into the water and scoop up. Oh, it's way better. Thank you. Thanks. Miraqen, you're the best. That water was great. That's what I needed.
I sensed it was the finest. Perhaps that will do the your hoarse and troubled voice.
For a time.
Fantastic.
Mr. Lorros, come. Up ahead, it looks like the nest of those foul creatures.
Yeah,
How
so
would you attack it?
You do see that the track and the drag marks do head towards the cave as well. Skin marks, yes. Yeah.
How would I attack it? Like
What would
I
be your
attack
battle plan?
I suggest we don't run in like fools.
Laura. So at that point, Loris just pulls out his axe and is like, "How would I attack it? With my axe." And just rests his arm on his axe, waiting for his instructions.
Indeed, that has been working for you. Miraqen, you think a softer approach, perhaps?
I'm concerned of how many there may be. Is there any way we can send a scout ahead? Bags
I
not.
might have an idea.
Mr. Byron, would you like to check the cave out for us?
I could give it a go.
So I just need to find out, like, how loud are you guys talking?
This volume exactly.
This volume
We know that we're on the hunt for some goblins, so I'm not going to be belting it out.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
Okay, I say, okay, sit back, everyone. Don't be alarmed. What you're about to see. All right, I cast something called Disguise Self, and I become the shape of a goblin.
Oh.
No, relax. It's still me. Sigg. I'm in the shape of a goblin, but I am still.
Sigg wonders if he sounds like a goblin and smells like a goblin.
I think so, but don't look too closely because it might fail. Yeah.
That is quite the impressive trick.
Thank you. Well, I put my book away. It's out of my book.
So do you shrink a little to make up in the height?
I can change by 1 foot,
All right.
shorter or taller.
And how tall?
I can steer.
How tall is Baron normally?
5'7",
Right, so
5'8".
I'd say you'd be on the tall spectrum of goblins then.
Right, are they quite short? Are they?
I would say they're like 4.5 foot. So you're like
Yeah.
you're a tallish one.
Okay.
Mr. Lorros, should we kill it?
Sick, you fool.
It's not a goblin.
There's a
How are
hole.
you so sure?
Thought you had brains.
You watched him change.
Sig, write
I
this in
saw
your
it.
notebook.
How do we know he wasn't a goblin all along?
Fair
We
point.
don't know what changed into a human. I don't know.
Oh,
I've been fooled by their wizardry before. Gill, have you seen this man prior to our journey today? What form was he in?
No, but I don't think he would be so interested in the anatomy of goblins if he were, in fact, a goblin himself.
Sig, did you not notice before Gill cast a dispelling magic? It would have revealed his form if that were not his true form. Write that down.
With the sounds you're making, you hear a little bit of a shuffling happening from the other side of the stream, and out stands a small goblin to basically see.
Wow, what's the noise? What is even happening over there?
He says,
Beast!
he locks eyes with you.
Intruders! Ah! Tell Clark they're here!
Can I react?
You may.
So hopefully before he yells out, "Tell Clark they're here,"
Okay.
I'm just going to call out to him and say, Excuse me, good sir. We mean you no harm. We're very enamored by you and your peoples, and we wish to learn from you. And I lay on as much charmery as I can, and I cast Charm Person. I attempt to charm a humanoid, which I assume he is, within range. It needs to make a wisdom saving throw, and it does so with advantage if we are fighting it. If it fails the saving throw, it is charmed by me.
So what does it say? It's when if it fails, it is charmed by until the spell ends. Okay, so it makes a wisdom. Let's do the wisdom saving throw first. And he's rolled a 14.
That beats my spell save.
No.
Okay. Let's.
Every time.
Yeah. It's like you need to level up or something, John.
Cock blocking.
Yeah.
Goblin scum.
To which
I yell out. Can I just yell out to him and say, like, "Don't! I've captured these humans."
But I'll resolve John's ones first.
Okay.
Okay. Alright, so you've basically tried to charm him.
Your skills won't work on me, but I can see you're with one of us, so don't worry about it.
And he turns to the other guy, the other goblin that's just sort of arrived as well. He was the one that was being called out to. Well, sorry. That broke the image of it all, didn't it? The magic.
Are they not real?
So the second goblin sort of comes around the corner. He's like,
What's going on here? You know we were just, like, meant to be... How did they sneak up?
the first one says back.
Look, we've been messing around. Look, if you take those in, we'll let you go. Just don't let Clark know that we've been out here pissing around.
They're not even. They just see a goblin on the other side with some people, and they're just kind of like,
"Are you taking them on the tour?"
Yes, they've all got tickets.
Okay.
Come closer. Let me see. We've had problems with ticketing recently.
I look around and I'm trying to decide who to kill first.
Look, I've already taken their tickets, and we had a trouble with the trap back there, and I dropped them.
But this is the problem we've had with ticketing. Jesus.
And
But they paid.
You clearly sort of see them sort of turn to each other and sort of discuss a little further. They're clearly not the smartest of goblins, and they're just going to continue sort of bickering amongst themselves until you guys...
Well, I asked you guys forward. Come on, let's go.
I'm just going to call out to them and just say they were very good traps, and we very nearly fell into them.
Did you find the snare trap?
Oh, did I? I flew right up.
Yes!
Very
Yes!
My
snare
impressive.
trap!
It took 3 people to get me down. It was very impressive.
I had assumed it would be 2. It is better than I ever thought!
And he's super happy about the efficacy of his snare trap. But feel free to keep moving.
Mr. Lorros. He said trap, and I've already got a trap in my book. I'll kill the one on the right, you kill the one on the left, and we'll worry about the weird guy afterwards. Agreed.
The goblins are keeping an eye on you guys now. They've stopped bickering, but they've definitely started being a little more cautious now that you're getting closer. They have noticed that that Baron's goblin is a little taller, and that they haven't seen him around before. So they're keeping an eye on you.
I'm trying to look like Billy.
You try to look like Goblin, Billy Goblin. Oh, I wish I had known that sooner. I wish I had known that. Okay.
Miraqen's getting quite worried about Sigg charging in when it's clearly going to break our cover. So she's trying to grab him by the shoulder and go, "Cool it, just play along."
There's clearly a river in the way as well.
Pardon?
Yeah, there's a river. There is definitely like
Yeah.
a running
Wait,
stream.
So
Yeah.
it's not like you can.
Sig wonders
It's
how
really a
deep the
little
river is.
It's
Can
just
we
gonna
try
be
to just
running.
turn around, trying to like steer Sig back in the opposite direction to which he came?
Sig has none of it and wonders if he can leap across the stream.
Oh god.
There is murder to be had.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that what sort of distance is it? That's like a 7-foot jump. That's not too bad. What sort of, you're in chainmail? You're not like, I'd probably want an athletics check. I reckon.
Athletics check.
We'll do an athletics check.
Yeah.
Yes.
But just be aware, like I said, it's no surprise. Like the moment you 6. All right. So like, all right. So you bolt towards them and take a giant leap and land like midway into the water, and it pushes you prone as the strength of the water kind of knocks you over. The goblins obviously notice this.
I yell out, "Isn't he a funny one? Oh, they're a troupe of traveling actors."
Yeah.
Wait a minute, you're trying to kill us! We'll get you now, this is it! You better roll for initiative or whatever it is. Roll!
All right.